Okay. Hello, Internet. Hello, future me. It is November 2023. No, 12th of November 2023 on a Sunday. It is 6:21 p.m. 6:21 in the evening. And today I have two things I want to talk about. Starting off with how I'm wasting my life. It's a weird thing to talk about because, wait 1 second, it's too hot in here. Okay, so the whole thing is like, if I know I'm wasting my life, why am I still doing it? And I'm slowly working on it, but it's hard to be productive. And this is my one way of remedying this issue. But I think I always had this propensity to procrastinate, and I'm a very lazy person. But what's really got worse was social media. I've deleted most. YouTube is the only thing I have, and that's the last boss, which I'm not going to be able to delete it for a while. I think it's just very difficult. But the whole idea is, like, these social medias, especially Instagram, they just keep feeding you after information that you don't even really realize the passage of time, or like your mind becomes in this transient state. Is transient the right word? In a trance state, where you're not even thinking, you're so absorbed into it that after hours of scrolling, you don't even know what you actually watched. And I had this problem for a while. I think Instagram especially is a horrifying application, and that has really wasted a lot of time for me. And then now that's deleted, but I still have YouTube, and I don't know. It's not just that though. That's one thing, one of the issues of how I'm wasting my life. The other issue is I make excuses, but the other issue is it's very hard to take initiatives for anything. I don't know why. I think my brain isn't necessarily scared of the outcome, but the way I cannot take initiative from self-perceptive opinion, it seems like it's out of fear, that I just can't put my step forward. And I don't know what it is. I think I tried a bit working on it. I had a coaching thing, but it was kind of a waste of time. It didn't really help with anything because of I don't think they were that professional, or it's not therapy or anything. So that was the other thing. And there was limited sessions, just 5. So I try to cram all these different problems I have, and then I forget it by the end of the week. when there's a new session. And I just introduce another problem I have, and none of the problems were fixed. But yeah, I mean, it still helped in some way. But anyways, going back, so taking initiative, I don't know why I do that, or why I don't do that, but just something I have to work on. I have been well, it's weird because you can't, if you're working on it, you're already taking initiative, but the whole idea is the problem to be able to take initiative. So I don't even know if I am working towards it. This journal is supposed to be a way of taking initiative, but we'll see. But it's clearly also a form of procrastination because I do have assignments, and I'm choosing to do this over that. But hopefully I'll do it afterwards. But yeah, but taking initiative, that's for a lot of things in life that I just fail to do. And I keep thinking to myself, Jesus, I'm wasting my life. But I just keep doing it over and over again. I wish there is a easy fix, but I think fixing problems, any problems, is you have to take the initiative. And how do I fix a problem if the problem is trying to take initiative? So, but you know, maybe future me, you have figured it out. It would be nice to know. And if you haven't, in 10 years, try not to kill yourself even then. Maybe it'll take more than 10 years, who knows. Anyways, the other thing I want to talk about is I'm really late to the train, but I just watched a video by, I think the YouTube channel is called The Canvas. I was watching like lots of different art videos, and one of the videos, or the last one I watched, was about AI art and how AI art is not art. And here I wanted to argue that AI art can be art. One reason being art is such a abstract definition that you can't really define it. The whole idea, well, I can't even say the whole idea, but one of the major ideas of art is that it can be defined based on each individual. Like, something can be art if it's perceived that way. So that, you know, it has a very interesting stance against, I think, what I call like the curse of categorization. I think art in that way is pretty cool. But anyways, so for this one, I kind of wrote some, well, it's supposed to be notes, but it was easier to just write sentences. But hopefully I won't be reading them out, because then what's the point of this video, these series, you know? Or, I don't know if it matters, but I'd rather not have a script. Also, is it weird to look at the camera? Maybe it's better to look at my screen. Anyways, so I think his main point was that art needs to have meaning behind to be art, you know. And maybe there was another video he made in terms of like aestheticism, decantism, because there is a whole argument of what art can be for art's sake, and to a certain extent, I think I can agree with that. I don't think every art needs to have a deeper meaning, you know. If it's provocative, but you can't really put into words, isn't that still good enough? Or if it just looks nice, you know, I would still call that art. You could say it's not a deep art. That's a whole thing. Or what I would argue here is maybe art versus good art, because I think good art would have, a deeper meaning usually. But also one of the common arguments I hear against AI art is the ethics of it all, where it takes art from different artists without consent to create AI art. But I find this kind of hypocritical in like the discourse of art, because what about like ready-mades and pop art? That whole idea is to steal art and call it, or not even art, steal something and then call that art. So why is that okay but not AI art? And maybe the argument here is that there isn't a person behind the stealing. But then wouldn't that make it worse if there is a person behind stealing? Because AI is a neutral figure. But then the argument here is that AI isn't necessarily a neutral figure because there's a person behind it that created it. But then what would be the difference between, data and pop art versus AI? Why is one cool and the other one uncool? And I guess the argument is also about how it would take away jobs for artists, or just replace artists. Let's start with replacing artists at that point. And for that, I would just say, like, if your art is replaceable to an AI, if your art can be replaced by an AI, it was never a good art to begin with. Because good art that's like really appreciated with some depth, is art with certain intention or some sort of layered subjectivity behind it, which AI would always lack. So that's why good art would never be able to replace, or will never be able to be replaced by AI art. But if you're making art for, like, I don't know, kind of a selling out art, I think it also makes sense that AI art is fine to replace it. But then the whole idea is like, well, it'll take away jobs. That fair point, but if your whole like income as an artist comes from replaceable art, why are you an artist? Maybe that's a very harsh comment, but wouldn't it be just easier to do other work if you're not gonna make art with, something that can't be replaced by AI? I just don't understand why you would do that. Maybe making art to start off, building money, but also I feel like you can just do other jobs. I'm not sure. Maybe there is an argument there. But then also, the thing is, this has always been a thing, throughout history, where technology changes, technology changes the paradigm, changes something. And the thing with change is that it's always going to take away something. But change is an inevitable part of time, not even life, just time. And as humans, we always develop technologies that advance into something else. Well, the way I see technology isn't necessarily advancement, it's just change. And that's what it is. There was all these fear for TV now TV is like such a common household thing, and it's even becoming kind of obsolete in my opinion. There was a thing for photography that took away a lot of jobs, but that also created new jobs and whole new culture and advancements in further technology. I'm not saying advancement is necessarily a good thing, but I'm just saying, is this a thing that has always been happening? And AI art isn't even that. AI art just another thing that's happening, you know. Even writing, was it Socrates or Plato or whoever, they were against writing, and because they feared, or he feared that that's gonna ruin our memory. But with writing, one is that there's more to, you know, living than just trying to remember everything. But also writing, you have more accurate records and you have more available information, so you're probably remembering more than just conversations with each other, you know. So you never know. And what else? Yeah, and I just think for the most part, AI art wouldn't necessarily make things worse. It just creates change, and I don't see it replacing like good art. Because if you're purchasing AI art for good art, that's on you. You clearly missed the point of appreciating good art. And if you just want it for decorations, who cares? Or for aesthetics, why not? You know, art can be just for aesthetics. And then for someone like me who wants to kind of also go into filmmaking in the future, it would be a great tool because I just wouldn't have the resources, including time, to develop something that I want to if I didn't have AI. Because filmmaking would be something that's secondary, tertiary for me in my future career. I plan to, I suppose. Because my primary would be biology, 100%, 99%. Either in research or something, some field work or relating to animal. My whole idea is research, macro level biology, including, no, research, and then secondary job or volunteer, and then after that will be filmmaking ideas. That's my whole game plan. So I just wouldn't have the time to, you know, I think, make films if I didn't have AI, I suppose. And initially I wouldn't have the money to, you know, commission. So it just makes sense. And also AI has this, I mean different AIs, but AIs have this unique style that's like kind of absurd. I don't know if you've seen, or if I'm talking to the future me, if you remember this video of, I think it was Will Smith just constantly eating pasta. It's just like whole AI video. That is amazing. And the whole thing is like AI at the end of the day is still a tool. Like I talk about how AI would, if it's replaceable by AI, you know, it's not good art because there's no like soul behind it. But like if you're using it as a tool, like in filmmaking, you could still have your soul, like intention or some level of subjectivity. And AI is just a different form of paintbrush, and that's all that is, I think. the whole AI video of the Will Smith eating pasta, that has like clear subjectivity. That sort of humor, well, maybe that idea was AI generated too, and it's all a sham. But I think that sort of humor has some level of subjectivity. Even if it's AI generated, choosing to upload that video and that concept in itself has a level of intention, you know. So I think AI could still be a good tool for art. I think people are just scared of change and technology. And most of change in technology is neutral. It's bad for some things, good for some things. I would say though, obviously not everything is neutral. Instagram is the devil. I 100% believe. Obviously, the good is that it can connect with people far away from each other, like thousands of kilometers away. You can see them real time, you can live and everything. And memes are fun, but at a certain point, just this whole cultural self-absorption, and the irony of this, but self-absorption and the constant scrolling of information after information that is pointless and just waste time is, I think, just horrifying and terrible. But yeah, that is all I have for today. I hope after this I'll start working on whatever I have to work on. So yeah, actually it's a filmmaking assignment, but for biology, so that'll be fascinating. Hopefully that's something I could really make and add it to my portfolio, because like right now I'm starting to think like I gotta perfect these assignments so that I could put it on whatever, so people can see what products I actually make in terms of like biology as well. Like I made this like crazy research proposal. It's to do with iPSC. Like in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's such a fascinating thing, because there's the whole research paper is about improving the efficiency of iPSC reprogramming, and there's already this like protocol using like chemical induction that's different from Yamanaka factors, but we're looking into this gene and seeing its role in iPSC reprogramming. I think that would be also fascinating as well. So yeah, unfortunately the research is really expensive, so I don't think I could really put that into fruition, but it would still be like a good way of showing like, oh, this guy knows how to read and write research to an extent, and maybe some people looking for those sort of people would recognize me on LinkedIn or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Okay, see you later. Have a nice day.